Welcome to a new edition of 2020. We're happy you could join us this evening. And this evening, I'd like to tell you that we have a very interesting topic. But before we get into the topic, let's introduce everybody. My name is John Gerges. I'm from the Church of St. Mary and St. Athanasius in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada.
Hi, my name is Mark Sherwood, and I'm from St. Bishoy.
Hi, my name is Marat Corollos, and I'm from St. Mark's in Toronto.
Hi, I'm Lydia Abdallah, and I'm from St. Mark's, Scarborough.
Hi, my name is Bosa Ibrahim, and I'm from St. Mark's, Scarborough.
So there we have it. This is the gang that we're going to talk with this evening. The topic, it's about social networking and texting. So let's see what the gang has to say.
Okay, so when I think of social networking, texting, it's something that happens every day, all the time. It's my main means of communication. But to me, I know a lot of people like to text, and they text like off the hook. But I like to use the phone. I personally like to talk to you. If I have the chance, I like to see them. Right? That's my view on text messaging. I don't like text messaging. I like talking to people if it's on the phone, or I prefer to talk to them. But when it comes to social networking, that has to be one of my favorite things. The first thing I do when I go on the computer is I check my Facebook, I check my Hotmail, I go on MSN, and I talk to people. I like to see what's happening, right? Facebook does that. It lets me see what's happening. It lets me be everywhere at once. It puts me into a big online community where I can see what all my friends are doing at the same time. That has to be one of my favorites, I think. And I know a lot of people think it's bad for you not to know everything, but I think that has to be one of my favorite things to do online, social networking.
Yeah, and I agree with Bolis. I love social networking. I'm always on sites like Facebook, Tumblr, my email all the time. And I think MSN is probably the easiest way to communicate with your friends, just because this way you can get to them whenever, wherever. But phone sometimes is very difficult, and sometimes you can't hold a phone conversation for as long as you can with MSN.
Okay.
I totally agree with Marat. I think texting, as I said, it's one of the easiest ways to get in contact with somebody. It's very instant. Just comparing and contrasting, like growing up as a kid, there's a bunch of things that that weren't present that are now, like Facebook, Twitter, BBM. Texting even wasn't even that big of a thing when I was growing up. And if there's one big difference is that, like Bolis has said, you're literally connected everywhere. And that could be a distraction at times, because you're not supposed to be connected all the time everywhere. And the distractions could prove to distract you from anywhere from school to church. Do I think that these are distractions that we can control? Yes, because I do totally think texting, social networking, they're all very positive things, because people that could never talk before, especially if they're overseas, family, they could talk now. And or people that you need to be in contact with constantly throughout the week, throughout the day, you can be now. And I also think safety-wise, don't people's parents say you should take a cell phone if you're going out by yourself. It's a ways of communication when there isn't any communication. So.
You would agree that Facebook and all the social network sites that we have nowadays is a form of communication.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. It also, with any form of communication, could potentially be also a distraction.
Yes.
Right? So communication is amazing, and it's major. We need to do it. We need to communicate with each other. Yeah. But like anything, we need to set guidelines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think?
It could be a form of gossip as well, especially with Facebook. I know I say I don't like to text, but I like Facebook, and it's sort of the same thing with the typing. But with Facebook, you're connected to a community where everyone can see. So I can talk to tons of my friends at the same time. But that's a good way to start gossiping. And I know the devil sees that, and the devil sees that that's like an outlet. It's an input to us, right?
This could be his way in.
It could be his way in, and it's a form of, if you don't control it, it could be a form of gossip. I know we hear this, and I hear it all the time from my parents at church, but I still go on Facebook, I still go on MSN, I still check my Hotmail. It sort of has become a necessity to me.
Is it something that you think you can control? Is it something that we can control? What do you think?
I think sometimes it can just get out of hand. Since we're on it every day, it becomes a routine. So I'm pretty sure with the right like control, like with the right feeding you can control it, but it becomes really hard when you're so used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I totally agree with what they said in the sense that when it becomes a necessity, when it becomes something you have to do when you get on the computer, when it becomes something I can't sleep without doing, it could even become an addiction. So, you know, when you go overboard with anything, too much of anything is not a good thing. And especially with social networking, it's actually made addictive. So you use it, that's how they market their product, it's an addictive product. So I think definitely we have to be careful in setting guidelines, and the best way to set guidelines is to maybe, I think, to examine yourself without it and see how you are. If you're going crazy because you haven't been on Facebook for 3 days, I think that's very, very dangerous. So.
No, and I think something that they do to always keep you coming back is they keep adding new features. So I was like, oh, I'm curious to know what they're doing next. So even though you might think you're controlling it, then there's always that in the back of your mind, I want to go on, I want to see what's happening.
Right, absolutely. And they are marketing these products in order to get our time.
Yes.
Right? And it really absorbs our time. Time away from what? I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
If you think back 5, 10 years ago, there wasn't any of this technology. So this time has been absorbed now by this form of technology, social networking, texting, MSNing, BBMing, all of this stuff. What has taken its place? If that time has sucked out an hour of my day, what was that hour that it has taken the place of? Could it have been preparation for church? Could it be reading the Bible? Could it be praying? Could it be reading the Agbeya? Could it be making an appointment with a friend of mine to go see someone in the hospital? Could it be someone that you miss, you haven't spoken to in a while, that you want to go visit?
But I think it's definitely controllable. The amount of time, I know people say, oh, it's addictive. They go on Facebook for hours and they end up deactivating their Facebook because they say it's so addictive. I have to disagree. I have to say Facebook is probably one of the most controllable things. I just go online, it allows me to quickly check what's up. I know sometimes I would spend like an hour on Facebook to check what's up, talk to my friends on the chat, comment on some pictures, upload some photos of my own, right, to keep connected. But I think it's definitely controllable. I would just go on, or I get it to my phone. See, they keep bringing it to you. But I think it's definitely controllable. You can't let something like that take control of you. You have to be in control at all times. That's how I like to think of it.
Okay.
I think it could also save time in a sense. Like Bola said, if it's coming to your phone, like you don't have to go all the way to a computer to check it. I think one of the things that I recently purchased a BlackBerry, and the thing I love about it is that I get all my email to my phone.
Right.
And you know, when I'm on the run, when I'm walking, and sometimes you need to read an email or you need to send someone an email. It's good to have it instantly. So I think productivity-wise, it could save you time in a sense that could be used to the things that you were mentioning.
We really need to understand that with this technology, like anything in our lives, there has to be some guidelines to it, right? And we are the ones that have to set the guidelines,
Yes.
right? So it has to be a form of self-control for us. So it's not a bad thing to have the technology. It's a bad thing to overuse it, just like anything in life.
You have to be in control.
Absolutely. We have to be in control. Or, like you said, it will take control of our time. The biggest thing that the devil has at his disposal to war against us is to take our time. He knows that we're not going to be spending that time in prayer, in reading the Bible, in conversation with our Father of Confession. He knows that if he captures that prize, that's the most precious thing, by the way, guys, that we have, is our time. Because you think about the time that we have, it's limited. And we can't get the time back. Every minute that passes, that is a minute that we can't recapture. It's not a renewable resource. We have a lot of renewable resources. Time is not one.
Yeah.
The devil understands that.
It's huge.
It's huge. And so we need to understand we have this valuable resource, time. How do I invest it? How do I invest that time? How do I put guidelines around the technology? And in discussing it, we know that we can do it. We know that we can control ourselves. right? By giving it a certain period of time, and it's not going to absorb the rest of my day, right? Thank you so much for attending another session of 2020, and we invite you to come back soon as we discuss some really interesting topics. I'd like to thank the gang again for this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks again. God bless.